I'm back. Did you miss me? It's been like 32 seconds. It's Katie Joy from Without a Crystal Ball. I have some big news, you guys. All right, so y'all saw my video earlier today where everyone hates me because I have had the audacity to not like Blaire White. But nonetheless, let's talk. So here's the deal. During a live stream with Blaire White last night, the controversial Jessica Yaniv had the audacity to brandish a taser, which is actually illegal in Canada. It was during a part of the video where she was talking about how she needed to protect herself, and then she showed her this on screen. Along with like some pepper spray, and said that it is illegal, but I have this, blah, 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 I have to use this. Well, within minutes of the stream shutting down, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police were at her door and put her in handcuffs and arrested her and then searched the home for having the illegal taser, okay? So here's where we're at. So according to the National Post, after Monday afternoon, Blaire White's live stream on which she had the prohibited weapon, where she brandished the prohibited weapon. She was arrested and brought to an RCMB holding cell. She was released Tuesday morning, and they took 2 stun guns, pepper spray, and bear spray. Now, she of course has quite the story because she's got a lot, right? She tells tall tales. Not only does she have a lot of tales to tell related to her perceived discrimination, she also has apparently has brain tumors and all kinds of. She says that she has months to live, maybe. It's hard to know. She's a pathological liar. So basically what she told the National Post was, she said, about 3 minutes after the broadcast ended, I have RCMP showing up at my door and putting me into cuffs saying I have a prohibited weapon. She said that after the release from the holding cell and she was returned to her apartment. This is where it gets ridiculous, you guys. And this is the part where it's like, I don't believe you, Jessica. She says that she goes back to her house and she reports that she's received via Facebook Messenger a prohibited image of a child on Facebook sent through Messenger. And she has to contact them to tell them she's received this message. And she wants them to take a report. Doubtful, right? So the RCMP MP actually confirmed the search, and they arrest at the home, but they wouldn't specify any details, what the charges were, what the timeline was, anything like that. And they spoke to Corporal Craig Van Herrick. He said that the RCMP received information and based on it, officers have an open investigation, an active and ongoing investigation. She also has another complaint that was filed last month by a girl that's now, I believe, 19 or 20 years old, but it was related to allegations of things that she did or said to her when she was 15. And so they wouldn't confirm or deny the charges or the circumstances behind them or what Yaniv has said was the reason for their return to the apartment. But neighbors confirmed seeing her being taken away in handcuffs Monday, and Yaniv did appear the day side by side in a YouTube conversation with Blaire last night. She basically told, this is what she said on the stream. She said, I have to carry pepper spray with me because people are so freaking violent over here. I should never have to have stuff like this. I don't need to be scared in my own house, blah, 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 blah. So, anyways, it's illegal in Canada to have any sort of energy weapons. So she's not supposed to have them, and it's actually like equal to having like other big time weapons. Okay. So, anyways, this is where it gets weird. So she says that while she's arrested, she has a seizure, and she has to go to the hospital. And then after she has the seizure and goes to the hospital, then she goes to the holding cell. It can't just be like simple ever. It's always like something has to be even bigger and more bold, right? So now she's had a seizure, she's going to the hospital, and then she's in the holding cell. She was released this morning. Now, neighbors of hers have been neighbors basically have been on other leak sites earlier today, kind of describing what they've seen at their home. And when I was last on there, the neighbor had said that they hadn't left. They had been there for more than 14 hours. So this was an extensive search. They had people actually like waiting outside of her door for quite some time. And they said that she's not allowed on the property until the search is complete. It's from federal RCMP, and security is being handled by local cops. 4 people called federal RCMP which caused this warrant. Langley RCMP knew about the taser but didn't do anything about it initially. Pepper spray has been confiscated by Burnaby RCMP earlier, and federal law enforcement is coming in the morning to execute a search. So that's what they had this morning. And then I know, imagine having this person be your neighbor. Can you even imagine? I took some screenshots earlier, so just give me a second. Crap. They're on my computer. Here it is. Okay, so here are the full details. This is what the neighbor said this afternoon. So they said, I got home and was told that our CMP arrived at the building around 4 p.m. and that the second police car left an hour ago. I walked down the corridor by her unit and saw them talking to her, maybe her mother, outside of the unit. I left around 8 and got back home around 10:30 p.m. They were still there. I walked down the hallway again and I saw another RCMP standing in front of the unit with a fan blowing on him. It was really hot here yesterday. Around 11 p.m. there was a change of the guards for Jessica's unit. Right at shift change, Jessica and Miriam pulled up in Miriam's car, honked at the Mounties that were leaving to have a conversation. A side note, I'm wondering now, is she times this so well? Was she told there was a shift change at 11, so she's watching all this through a camera pointed at the front of the building? Important things to note from the conversation. She said it relates to the taser and the YouTube video from it. She is told that she's not allowed on the property. Langley RCMP have known about this for quite some time, but they hadn't done anything about it. The Burnberry RCMP it. Whoops. Sorry, you guys. I think I got too many things open here. All right. So they searched the condo. It was not done by the Langley department. I used the term federal, but I'm not certain. Either way, it's made clear that that the local cops are here following orders from another office, a federal office. It's a federal because it's mentioned that 4 complaints from across Canada have caused this search warrant to happen. And then Jessica left with her mother Miriam and walked around the car. So there's been a lot of like, she's been really quiet on. Hang on. Okay, sorry about that. It was buffering. I didn't mean to stop there. All right. So it sounds like, as terms of what's going on here, is she has been released, but there's an ongoing investigation. And so what that means, I don't know. There was a report made, I said, by that girl. I know that there was multiple individuals that had reported specific behaviors and incidents with her that involved children. So this is definitely like a good thing. But in terms of like, yeah, can you imagine, like, I'm sure now there's been a lot of speculation on a lot of this was actually getting dropped on Kiwi Farms, but Kiwi Farms, because of everything that happened with the stuff related to like El Paso and stuff, you know, all of those anonymous forums have been getting really, really hammered, and so a lot of them have been like up and down and up and down, and KF has been like under some sort of like cyber DDNS sort of attack. And so it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, and the neighbor is updating in there. And so, but this was another sort of coordinated effort by the KF people to get this. So, you know, in some cases, these sites are very, very, they get a lot of like fringe belief systems and people that coordinate for nefarious reasons. And then at the same time, these sites can also really take down people that are doing bad things too. So I don't know what to think here, but the neighbor has been updating in there. That's where I got the information, but it's now KF is down. So, and Jessica hasn't said anything on Twitter other than she's so exhausted. And so obviously everyone is sort of like hammering at her, and there you go. So, yeah, she's, you know, a lot of people on Twitter were actually saying that her, like, obsessive need for, like, attention could have ultimately been her undoing here. And going to a platform like Blaire's that has, you know, 500,000 subscribers easily put her in a position where she was far more, you know, out there than she had been. And on Twitter, for instance, I think she's got like 147,000 followers, but they've done analytics to find that like over 100,000 of those are like actually fake accounts. And she has like technical background where she can, she's been known to make a lot of fake accounts. So there's a lot of speculation that like her perceived following on her social media has been built by her to like make her appear more influential than she actually is. Yeah, and then there was also this on KF, they were talking about how, you know, it could have just been that, you know, they had stuff ready. They were just sort of waiting for a reason to enter, which they can do a lot of times here in the US. And then once you have a warrant, you can kind of search for other things if you happen to find it by accident, kind of thing. So I can't imagine that if they confiscate her electronics, it's going to be good for her. There's just so much, so much here. Yeah, they were absolutely waiting for a reason. So, yeah. She's a turd, you guys. Like, I hope you guys realize that, like, earlier today when I was talking about this person, I wasn't, like, at all justifying, like, anything about what she's done or, like, the stuff that people have said she's done or the screenshots that I've read or the voice memos that I've listened to. Like, I don't say by any means this is a good person. I just thought that the whole thing that happened last night was such a mess, and I thought was like so just far away from what it was, just so all over the place, you know. um yeah. So no, okay, do you want me to tell you about the issue related to the waxing? It's not even that it's too delicate. It's actually that it requires two separate kinds of wax. Um, and it's a completely different technique that you would use on a male versus a female. And many estheticians are like never trained on how to do that on men because it's not a common thing that men request. And so unless a esthetician actually has specific training in order to do that, there will be some that literally don't know how to, and it would actually be detrimental to the person to get one from that person if they can't do it. And so they're not like under legal requirements to give something to someone. They can deny anyone for anything. Unfortunately, she's trying to go through a legal loophole and make it as though it's being a discriminatory thing. I know, you guys, I'm at 9,000 subs today. Holy crap. I can't even believe this. This is like unbelievable to me. Like, when did I get 9,000 subs? When did this happen? When? When? When did this happen? When did I get 9,000? I feel like I was just literally at 3,000. Or like, man, I there are days when I'm like, when did this, what? So yeah. I can't believe it. I hope so. Today, someone that follows me that I actually made a moderator on here actually made a comment that I was self-destructing my channel, which I don't know about that. Because I didn't have the, I don't even know. I had the audacity to, you know, somehow not think that Blaire White is the bee's knees. Will I get to 100K? I don't even know. To be honest, I'm just amazed that 9,000 people are subscribed. I am humbled. I was... yeah. Yeah, I don't know why that mod would say that. That was really weird. I'm gonna have to go reevaluate that. Um, you know, I don't know. I wasn't the only one that felt that way, you guys. I got a lot of feedback about my assessment of Blaire. Um, and I've watched several of her videos, and I just don't really like her approach. That doesn't mean that you have, like, if you like her, that's fine. I just don't, okay? She's not my kind. I probably wouldn't be friends with her. She seems kind of like a mean girl to me. So, yeah. You really think 25K? Oh my gosh. I don't know. All right, so Well, when I get rich and famous, just kidding, that will never happen. But maybe one day when I'm actually like more popular, people will actually care what I have to say and not yell at me. That last stream, and I'm rambling now because I'm done with the news, but I was, very sidetracked. And that was sort of my point, right? I'd spent like all afternoon, right? So all afternoon I was reading about this Jessica, right? And I was listening to voice memos, and I was like watching videos, and I was reading screenshots, and I read Twitter accounts, and I was reading like news articles from the National Post about the case and about the allegations. And, so I had read all of this stuff, and I was like walking into this thing, like thinking, it was going to be addressed in a way that I would come back, like feeling like confirmed about how I felt. But then I actually ended up being more annoyed, or almost like, whoa, what did I just watch? I felt like I watched a train wreck. And I didn't disagree with the points that Blaire was making. I just disagreed with the approach. Yeah, no, I didn't say like yelled at you. I had people in my comments afterwards. Literally, I had to delete those ones, Andrea. So I don't really know. They haven't said anything. They went to her house last night after the stream, and she was put in handcuffs and arrested. Yes. I am glad she's donating the super chat money to the families that they were to the families that she put out of business. And yeah, you guys, like, there's a lot of things that I read today, like from the screenshots to the memos to all of the allegations, where like Jessica Yaniv is a sick individual that is doing not good things, okay? But I was not expecting what I saw, I guess is what I should say. Yes, one of the girls did press charges. She was actually on Twitter earlier today saying that following everything that happened, she called the Royal Montes. They spoke with her. She went down for an interview this afternoon, I guess, according to her. So it could tie into some of this child stuff. I'm thinking if they're going to spend this many hours searching her house, and they'd already confiscated the stuff that they went there for, they were probably looking for something else. Yeah, I don't know what it's like in Canada, but I know like estheticians here can actually like deny anyone anything. um I was at a this is like a totally random story, but I was at a salon a couple years ago with a friend, and we were getting like a facial and massages for her birthday, that kind of stuff. And we got like I think we got like pedicures and massages and manicures, right? We had like a spa day. And while we were there, this guy walked in with his friend, and they were going to have pedicures, but he had like a bunch of stuff on his legs that I don't know if it was like eczema or uh, I don't know it. I don't know what it's called, but I know it can happen with people when they're a little bit overweight. They can get these like sort of raised skin that can kind of get like infected. I don't really know what it's called. It's not eczema. It's like a specific thing. The skin kind of edemas in a way. And anyways, the estheticians that were there were basically like, nope, we can't help you. That would be like, that would put our health at risk. And then he got like super pissed off about it and was like making this like big stink about it. And it was just like, he had like growth on his toes. He clearly had some sort of like infection. It could have been like a boil or a cyst. Yeah, that might have been what it was. But it definitely didn't look healthy. Yeah, maybe psoriasis. I don't know what it was. It looked really. I don't blame them for saying no. I mean, it's a public health issue. It was not a skin tag. I mean, they were like big. Oh. You know, my kid has so many medical conditions, but skin stuff really, it's like so hard for me. It's so hard. It's so hard. So hard. One time my son had a jugular line. Well, he's had multiple jugular lines. Um, but when he was 3 months old, he had a jugular line, basically like a PIC line that goes straight to your artery so that they can draw labs off of, you know? And he was on life support and he had almost passed away and blah, 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 blah. And so when they finally like took him off of the ventilator and he was like finally stable enough and they could remove this, it ended up getting infected. And it was weird. Like the whole time we were in the hospital, I wasn't like weirded out at all by the ventilator or all of the. I mean, he had a thing right up here in his head, like they put a IV in his scalp, and that didn't even weird me out. But when the jugular line that they removed, when it got infected, it got like really green, and I was like, so like, that was when I lost it. I didn't lose it when he was on life support. I lost it when this thing got infected. Go figure. All right. Yeah, I don't know if it was like, it was weird. You know how like you know how like it was on his ankle, so like up here. And you know how like sometimes when you get to you put some people when they put on too much weight and it gets to an unhealthy place. And I would say he was definitely like, and I have nothing against any of you guys if you're overweight. Like that's not my point. But medically you can get like edemas, and you can sort of like get excess fluid that like, because your heart just doesn't, everything just, it's harder on your body, right? And it was almost like he had like excess fluid down there, and then on top of it something was like growing. It was really weird. So yeah, exactly, he needed to go to a podiatrist 100%. um yeah, I've okay, so according to the National Post, which is like the kind of like the big like multi kind of similar to like New York Times sort of kind of in so the National Post is like the multi province sort of outlet newspaper, and they said that like he has legally, according to like state records or whatever, he has legally changed his gender. He's changed it on his state ID. And in order to get all of that where he's at, you have to be going through some sort of stuff with your doctor. And he's on hormones. That was like what they said, based on records that he had, or she, sorry, that she had done those steps. So okay. So somebody on Kiwi Farms was talking about the brain tumor thing, and I can tell you about that. So I found a screenshot, and I can't even remember where it was, but it wasn't. it wasn't actually a brain tumor, it was hydrocephalus. So it's excess water on the brain. Um, but I don't know if that's what that thought it was. Um, he's had some issues with like shortness of breath, and he's needed like or she's, I'm sorry, I keep saying she's needed like oxygen and all of that kind of stuff. I don't really know. But like hydrocephalus as a whole isn't like a tumor. It's just water, and you can have a shunt, and then you're usually fine. So sometimes I think some of this stuff is just like, if she lies about one thing, what else doesn't she tell the truth about? Yes, like people have when they were born. Yeah, my son has hydrocephalus. So my son has a shunt. It's up here. We call it his bump. We can't cut my son's hair a little too short because he doesn't want to see his bump. And then he has a catheter, and it like it sits like right on top of your brain, on your skull, in between, like under your skull, and then like on top of the bone, and then it has like a little threaded catheter that goes into the ventricle, and then that catheter then like runs all the way down your side, and then they tunnel it down your abdomen. She's on a waiting list for gender reassignment surgery, according to the National Post. Yeah, she could have a pseudotumor, which can happen with which can actually happen with increased pressure in your brain. Um, and it can happen actually when you are um, pseudotumor cerebri can happen. It's more common in women, but it can happen with hydrocephalus. It can happen with increased intracranial pressure. Um, it can happen if you're like have like being a female that's overweight can increase your chances of having them. So maybe like, I don't know if maybe like it could be a side effect from, for instance, the hormone she's taking. I don't know. Yeah. Not Chiari. She didn't say anything about Chiari. I just saw hydrocephalus. Yeah, my mods are good peeps. We don't do trolls here. We try to respect pronouns. We try to do all of that. We try to be nice even when we don't want to be. Oh, yeah. Intersex. She said that she was intersex last night. But here's the part that I don't understand, you guys. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. But she says that she has her period, and then she put up a pad. Like, anyone can buy a pad. She could just literally have a box of them if she wanted them, right? But, okay, even if she has the male anatomy on the outside and some like ovaries and fallopian tubes on the inside and a uterus, there would still need to be a way for that like blood to get out. And when you shed as a woman, it doesn't come out of your urethra, it comes out of your vagina. And so unless they have a vagina, there would be no way to menstruate. As long as anatomically, it would be impossible. It's not going to come out your urethra. I know, she always says she does. It's gross. Um, so I only know a little bit about the intersex stuff only because I think it depends. It depends on like you can have certain things that I don't know. It's not always black and white, and um, they can look at like chromosomes. They can do like a chromosome check to see like what the chromosomes are. Um, but even that can be not telling. But yeah, generally you have to like pick one at birth. Yeah, the intersex depends on the chromosomes. Correct. They can be underdeveloped or missing. It's not black and white at all. It's not like they're born with both. It can be so many different things. Yeah. She's like obsessed with periods. It's really weird. So weird. Like, I don't, you guys, I would give mine up if I could have it. Did you guys see? Some scientist in Tel Aviv actually said that they developed something, I think it's a vaccine or something, that will prolong, or is it in the UK? It's a way to prolong menopause for 20 years. And they're offering it to women up to the age of 40 as a like test in the UK or something. I was like, I wish we had that here. I would totally sign up for that. Oh yeah, astronaut. I don't believe anything she says. I know. I don't believe anything she says. But so the scientists that developed this thing basically said that it will help women with the risks associated with menopause. Like once you go through it, you have an increased risk of developing like osteoporosis, arthritis, lots of just negative side effects that go with it, like the hot flashes, all that stuff, and they can prolong that so you can spend more of your life happy. Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird fetish. Really weird. All right, you guys. So that's the skinny on Jessica. I will keep you guys posted as I find out more. I will tell you that falling down this rabbit hole has been intense. She is by far one of the most yikes individuals ever. Getting very hungry. You guys are awesome. I'm so tired. I'm just emotionally drained, you guys. All right, you guys. Thanks for being kind this tonight. Thank you to my mods. Um, I didn't skim over anything like that. I'm just not even talking about it. It's that disturbing. I don't know. We will definitely be doing another stream with Todd, 100%. I die a little every time. It's true. Not tonight, though. Absolutely not tonight. All right, you guys. I'll be back. I hope you guys have a good night.